All right, so sometimes I hit the video button and right away it looks like something I'm content with. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is this going to be another YouTube championship. Not really a game. I'm going to do what I did with the 61 Maple Leafs and 51 Red Wings, and do a best of two. Most goals will keep the title. So the way that the NHL playoffs used to be done way back about 100 years ago. And the Cincinnati Stingers, technically the current reigning, I guess, if you want to say, YouTube champion for this project here, having defeated the Quebec Nordiques. I'm going to start them on the road, and I'm also going to start them with their backup goaltender, Mike Liut. Mike Liut, of course, would go on to Washington or Hartford and Washington fame in the 80s. Played with St. Louis as well on the good 81 St. Louis team. Also playing on that good 81 St. Louis team for the Edmonton Oilers, Mike Zook. And I've decided as well to go with their backup. Somewhere in my mind, Don McLeod became Don Head, and I think I said something in a prior video about, oh, Portland Buckaroos, Don McLeod. No, that was Don Head, who would have been much, much older than in 78. So Don McLeod is Edmonton's backup. He'll get the start here. And then I'll switch to Edmonton's Dave Dryden and Michel Dion for the Cincinnati Stingers. Thanks for that, PJet, for the following game. So anyway, I'm also going to do this a little more idiot proof or Monday proof. I've gone back to I have a deck here of 32, or a pile of 32 cards, and then I have this pile of 22. From this pile of 22, I will draw for team players, secondary assist on goals, and, well, team players for scoring chances and or just trying to maneuver the puck to somebody to get a scoring chance. So anyway, with that said, might as well get this on the go here. So it's going to be the 9 of clubs meeting the Cincinnati Stingers at possession starting off. The Stingers there with Rich Leduc. I was going to talk about a few more notable names for both. I guess I will here quickly. Cincinnati led by Robbie Ftorek. He has 5 goals and 8 points so far in 4 games of this replay. And the Edmonton Oilers are led by Paul Schmier with 3 goals and 6 points in 4 games. Notable for Edmonton, you have Ron Chipperfield, who led the Oilers in 78 in real life in scoring. I believe he did. Anyway, they also have Cowboy Bill Flett. I'd have to double check on the Chipperfield thing, to be honest. Blair McDonald, who playing in a line with a fellow by the name of Gretzky in the early 80s for the Oilers, and I think 80 or 81, had a 46-goal season for them. And Joe Micheletti, who now, of course, does color commentary with Sam Rosen on MSG. Micheletti's also on the national broadcast sometimes as well on the NBC ones. Brett Callahan, I want to say that's another name that I recognize. I'm wondering if maybe it's reading some about Gretzky in the early 80s. Maybe he was a carryover to the NHL Oilers. I mentioned Cowboy Bill Flett. Juha Whiting, Dave Langevin, who of course played on some Stanley Cup championship winning New York Islanders teams, and Norm Ferguson, who figured big into my 68 or 69 rather draft. He was taken pretty early and probably as a prospect could or should have gone even higher. Cincinnati has, in addition to Robbie Ftorek, who's leading them in scoring, Pat Stapleton, Rick Dudley over from the Buffalo Sabres, Peter Marsh, another kind of a notable name, I guess, in 70s, 80s hockey. Claude LaRose, me being a Habs fan. And, not quite as name-heavy a team, but I know Dudley was one, for instance, that when I saw the season cards, I was like, really? Because I played Dudley with the 75 Sabres. So, yeah, they've got him here. Anyway, speaking of Dudley, he does not have possession, but his teammate Rich Leduc does. And with that 6, he's going to be able to play it through to another 9. That's Ron Plum, offensive defenseman Ron Plum, who narrowly misses on his chance there back the other way. Brett Callahan with it for the Oilers here up to the 5-minute mark. Callahan with the 7. He's going to be able to maneuver it to a team player. That team player with the 10. I just do this kind of rough. We'll give it to Dave Langevin. 7-10 for a goal. Langevin misses narrowly. Decent save by Michael Liut, actually. 4 back the other way with it. It's going to be Barry Legge for the Cincinnati Stingers there, but with the 7, unable to make anything happen with it. So we have now for the Stingers Hugh Harris? I think Hugh Harris with it, but the 2, he unfortunately shanks it. So probably about halfway through the period. Now it's going to be Peter Marsh here with it. A Marsh with the 6 as well, unable to generate a scoring opportunity for. So Stingers with possession. Barry Legge with it once more. He's jokered out. So about 5 minutes to go here in the opening frame. We have King Al Hamilton, whose number I think I mentioned was retired by the Oilers. Defenseman Al Hamilton with a 3 where he needs a 5. So nothing's going to happen there either. Final 2.5 minutes here of the first period. That's Pat Stapleton, and Stapleton with the 3. So it doesn't really matter what these two cards are. After one period of play, it's scoreless. Second period, starting things off, it'll be the Edmonton Oilers here on Chipperfield. I just by default give it to the highest player on the card in the category normally. So Chipperfield here with a 7. Chipperfield, he sets up Norm Ferguson. Ferguson with a 9. We get our first goal here right off the bat in period 2. So Edmonton scores. Norm Ferguson from Ron Chipperfield, and Spades, that is Joe Micheletti. So Micheletti picking up the secondary helper there, 1-0 Edmonton, and it's going to be an Oilers team player maintaining it, where I'm supposed to take from this deck. It's a 10 anyway, so I'm going to give it to Langevin again. Langevin with the 10 automatically through, should have known that. That will go to Al Hamilton this time, and Hamilton, we come over to Liut. He surrenders on Kings, so we have a quick 2-0 hockey game here. Al Hamilton scores! 2-0 Edmonton. Hamilton from Langevin. And 8, that is diamonds, 8 of diamonds. Brett Callahan picking up another point there. Quick 2-0 game, Edmonton after a scoreless 1. And it's Mike Zook maintaining. Zook with the ace automatically through, all Edmonton here. Norm Ferguson looking for another goal with a 4. Ferguson needs a 5 or greater. The Jack back the other way now. That is the aforementioned Rick Dudley. Dudley here with a 6. Dudley's going to feed it on to Robbie Ftorek, looking for goal number 6 of the season. And Ftorek with the 9 has made this a 2-1 game. Ftorek scores in Edmonton. 2-1 Ftorek from Rick Dudley. And the King of Hearts. No assist on that goal. So, whoops, why would I put that there? The score is King of Hearts to 2. So 2-1 hockey game here. And off the draw, the Oilers once again with possession here. Juha Whiting, but he won't be able to play it through to anyone. I think it's Whiting. It might be Whiting. I know it's Juha. 3 here. It's Bill Gilligan now for the Stingers with the 2. He punts it. So 2 more coming off the pile. And with the 3, it's going to be Gilligan here with another shot. Gilligan this time with an 8, missing only narrowly. So 2. So we're down to our final sequence here, the second period. The 7, it goes back into the Oilers' hands. Cowboy Bill Flett lassos at 2, 8, Juha Whiting with the 9. We have a 3-1 game here. Edmonton scores here toward the end of period 2. Juha Whiting from Bill Flett. Also, Joker, I could choose. You know what? I am going to choose somebody. I'm going to say, let's give Schmier another assist. Let's contribute to his good campaign. So Schmier picking up the secondary helper here. That's his 7th point to lead the team. I feel like as a defenseman, he's been offensively productive, but he doesn't have as many assists, I guess, as one might expect from an offensive defenseman. I think in the meantime, what I will do, actually, I'm going to show the, and full credit goes to Brian Martin for this. I know he gave full credit to the person or persons who showed him this, but basically scientifically, and yes, I'll shuffle them the normal way, but this is so when, putting aside a pile of 32 here, what I will do is I'll do it this way, and I'll put them down in different order each time. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, here I'm going 2, 1, 4, 3. Now I'll go like 1, 4, 3, 2, and then maybe 3, 1, 2, 4, something like that. And then let's go here 3, I guess again, 2, 4, 1. Just as long as you're setting them down a different way each time. I think let's go 23, 14, and one more, 3, 1, 2, 4. Let me see here. So I've got 3, 6, 10, 12, 16. Yeah, so I've got this pile of 22. So I can give this a light shuffle, and I'll set it aside. And then I'll take these 32, which should be as good as shuffled now, but I even, I'll lightly go through here a few more times. And should be good to go here. Should be able to generate a vastly unique, a period in the third that'll be unique to the first two anyway. Now, that could still equate to Edmonton getting the better of Cincinnati in this game, and it is the Oilers starting off with the team player. Got to remember not to grab it by habit. It is the spades. Let's give it to Busniuk. Let's give it to Busniuk here with the blackjack, so I'm not going to injure him, but consider it the play as good as canceled. So two more coming off the pile here now. And the two, so it's going to be a team player here for the Stingers. The Stingers here with the 8. Let's give that to Craig Norwich. Norwich with the 6. Norwich, he sets up Ron Plum. Plum with another go at it. And this time Plum scores here in Edmonton, successful. We have a 1-goal game. Ron Plum from Craig Norwich and secondary Rich Ledoux. Plum from Norwich and Ledoux here early in the third period. We have a 1-goal game. And Robbie Ftorek looking for the tie. Ftorek the 4, which is all he needs. Ftorek, he sets up Bill Gilligan. Bill Gilligan and the King. We come over to Don McLeod. We have a tie game. Cincinnati scores here in period 3. It was Gilligan from, I believe, Ftorek. Gilligan from Ftorek. And Pat Stapleton. Suddenly it's 3-3. Edmonton, Al Hamilton. Hamilton 10 is automatically through. On to Juha Whiting with the 3. And he fans on the shot. It goes to Jamie Hislop for the Stingers. But he's going to be jacked out, if not jokered out. 9, so is that Zook? No, it's Joe Micheletti. Joe Micheletti with the 4. Unable to set anyone up with a chance to score there. We go back to, it's going to be fed up to Al Hamilton now. Hamilton with the 8. Hamilton with the 8. On to Paul Schmier looking for that 4th goal. Red Queens against Mike Liut. Work! So, toward the end of 3, Edmonton with the late dagger, the go-ahead. Paul Schmier. Schmier from, I believe, Al Hamilton. Schmier from Hamilton. Also picking up a point there is Randy Rhoda. This is the final sequence of the third. Cincinnati will have a chance to tie at least. And Ron Plum with the 4, unable to. So, this is a 4-3 Edmonton hockey game, but keep in mind that to win the YouTube title, you need to have the most goals scored or least goals allowed total after 2 games. So Edmonton, they're going to move into Cincinnati now, +1. So back to Cincinnati, where the Stingers might be feeling the title slipping away a little bit. But let's see here. It's going to be the Stingers with the initial possession. It's going to be a team player as well. 8 for the Stingers. Let's give it to Craig Norwich here again. Norwich with the joker. That's automatically through this time. Norwich gets it on to Hugh Harris. Hugh Harris inside. But he's unsuccessful. Starting in goal. This game here, I was going to mention Dave Dryden. I mentioned him previously, but anyway, Dave Dryden here for the Oilers, and Michel Dion getting the start in this game for the Cincinnati Stingers. And the 6 does mean that the Stingers will maintain once again Craig Norwich. Norwich this time with the 8. Norwich on to Ftorek. Ftorek gets goal number, I believe, 6 or 7. I know he came into the prior game with 5. I know he had at least an assist. And Ftorek has a goal here. 1-0 Cincinnati. Ftorek from Norwich. Queen of Clubs is Abgrail. Abgrail, I believe his first name is Kevin. No, Dave. Probably Dave. D. Because, you know, it's Dave and it's hockey. Maybe Don. I'll have to check. Curious now. Because it's not on the card, but it is on the spreadsheet. Dennis Abgrail. Dennis Abgrail. There we go. Okay, so 4 of diamonds. 4 of diamonds. That's going to be Barry Legge with it. And the 5, unable to get anything through, but it has been all Cincinnati here through about half of 1. Ron Plum here with the puck. The King, that will penetrate the Oilers' defense because this is World Hockey Association in 78. He gets it on to Ron Plum. Wait, did I say Plum already? That's an individual effort for Plum. So Plum taking it himself to the inside, and Plum getting it done. 2-0 Cincinnati. They score here. 5. That is Robbie Ftorek picking up another point as well. His 5th assist now of the campaign. 2-0 Cincinnati. Looking to hold on to that YouTube title here. Brian Campbell here with possession now for the Oilers. Though 9. Campbell, he'll be able to. Edmonton looking for the quick goal to cut the lead in half. Can Schmier score again here with the 3? The Queen. We come back over to Michel Dion, who surrenders on Kings and Red Queens only. Great save, Michel Dion. And the 7, Edmonton will maintain. It's Cowboy Bill Flett. Flett firing it through. He gets it on to Joe Micheletti. Micheletti with the ace. It's a 2-1 hockey game here. Edmonton scores in Cincinnati. Joe Micheletti from Bill Flett. And Blair McDonald picking up the secondary assist there. Stingers with it again. Peter Marsh. Peter Marsh with a 4. Not able to successfully set anyone up with the scoring chance. And somewhere I took a card I think that I shouldn't have. I'm not going to go back and try to undo anything done now. Anyway, it's not Bill Gilligan, Norm Ferguson with it. Ferguson with the king through to 7. Joe Micheletti. Micheletti with the queen, the red queen. Micheletti has tied the game here for Edmonton toward the end of 1. Joe Micheletti. I wonder what I did do there. Micheletti from Norm Ferguson. And the king here, the king of clubs, Dave Semenko. There you go. Dave Semenko picking up an assist from, I don't think he had any goals that season, but from Ferguson. From Ferguson and Micheletti tying the game here. So Micheletti jumping up on the offense, and we have a 2-2 game. So strong start for Cincinnati, strong finish for Edmonton there in period 1, and it's 2-2 headed into period 2 where the Oilers will start off. That's where I must have taken a team player from here. That's caught myself. Anyway, let's give it to Randy Rhoda this time. So Edmonton and Randy Rhoda with the 7. Randy Rhoda able to play it through onto the ace, Bill Flett, and Flett has made it 3-2 here with a sneaky goal early. Edmonton scores in Cincinnati. The Oilers, who came into this one with a record of 2-1-1, the Stingers 2-2. I guess Edmonton would be up to 3-1-1 now with that win in Edmonton. And here in Cincinnati, Edmonton with a record, or Cincinnati rather, with the record of 2-3. Correspondingly, anyway, it was Flett here with the goal. It was Flett from Rhoda. And the secondary helper there, the 4 of spades. So Paul Schmier picking up another point. And Edmonton maintaining here. Juha Whiting, we look Queens. That will penetrate Cincinnati's defense. On to Al Hamilton with the 9. Hamilton giving Edmonton a 2-goal lead. They score. In Cincinnati, the Edmonton Oilers. It is 4-2 here. Hamilton from, I believe I said Whiting there with the 6. And the Joker, so I guess I can choose a player for this project. I think I have been doing that. I gave a point to Schmier earlier. Flett got involved in this goal, so let's give it to Blair McDonald. Sorry, the highest of his unassists. Chipperfield, we'll give Chipperfield another helper. With the Joker now, Cincinnati looking to close the gap immediately. Robbie Fatorik again with that 4. Fatorik to Hugh Harris. Hugh Harris with the 9 has done just that. They score in Cincinnati. Hugh Harris from Robbie Fatorik. And the ace of spades going to Jamie Hislop as I have Motorhead in my head. It's going to be 4-4. Barry Legge with the 10 through on to Jamie Hislop. Jamie Hislop 7. So we have a tie game here once again. This is World Hockey Association hockey in 1978. So quick 4-4 game here. Basically about halfway through. Regulation, and 8 goals between these teams already. Whoops. That will be for the next sequence there because the secondary helper on that goal. Let's give it to Peter Marsh. And Cincinnati will maintain. This time it's Pat Stapleton. Pat Stapleton will penetrate the Edmonton defense. Stapleton to Ledoux. Ledoux needing a 5 or greater. Only a 3 won't be enough. 9 now. Rich Ledoux with it here. Looking to pass at this time. The 5, it'll be just short of the 6. And it will be collected by Jamie Hislop. Hislop feeds it through to 4. That's Coates. Coates with a 7, and he needs a 9. 3. Edmonton. Norm Ferguson here with it again. Ferguson needed an 8 where he got only a 6. So after me announcing the scoring flurry, we get a scoreless, I think, latter half of that second period, and the score is 4-4 here after 2. All right, so a thought that I had here before the third and final period for this video is that should Cincinnati manage to win by 1, it would be a draw for the best of 2, most goals scored since Edmonton won by 1 goal in the prior game in Edmonton. So with a draw, the champion would maintain their title. So Cincinnati looking to get ahead by 1 at least. Edmonton has to win by, well, I guess if Edmonton wins, then they're the champion also. Anyway, Blair McDonald here. For Edmonton's case, McDonald able to get through the pylon Cincinnati defense. On to Mike Zook with a 7. Zook scores 5-4. Just like that. Zook from Blair McDonald. And the 7, that's Bill Flett picking up another point here for the Oilers. I've lost track how many points these guys have in just the best-of-2 series, where Flett gets it on to Flett. Look at this, Flett going end-to-end with the 6. Make no doubt about it, Michel Dion has put up missing posters around his net. Less advertising than on the boards, but Dion, he's gone in search of his teammates. Missing a blue line of defense. Anyway, 10, okay, the secondary helper. That was actually no Flett. There will only be 1 assist on the goal. Flett from Schmier makes sense to me. And the 10, it's Ron Plum now. Cincinnati suddenly down by 2, but with the Joker automatically through. On to Claude LaRose with the Queen. We come over to Dryden. Kings, Red Queens, Jack of Hearts. Dryden with the save on that Queen of Spades. 5 for Edmonton here. Randy Rhoda now with it 2. And he shanks it with that. So, 8. It's going to be maintained by Edmonton. This time it's Brett Callahan. The Oilers are killing time, if nothing else. The Queen, it's Paul Schmier. Now Schmier with the 6. He sets up Bill Flett inside. And Flett bangs it home once more. He scores 7-4. Edmonton humiliating Cincinnati now in their own barn. The secondary helper will give it to, I gave Chipperfield an assist. And I'll give Hamilton the assist on it. Anyway, this video is probably over 20 minutes now, so I'm just going to keep playing. 21. So 9, that is, plus, I don't know, the game is kind of, again, it's, Cincinnati can't come back. Anyway, let's see if they can get some consolation goals here. Rich Ledoux is through. On to Robbie Fatorik, and that spells yes. Why yes, Fatorik with the GOAL. It's a 7-5 contest. And some consolation. Smatterings of light applause in Ohio. It's let's see here. Carroll, that is, what's his first name? Billy Carroll? Scott Carroll? That is Greg Carroll. My goodness. Okay, so 5 is Claude LaRose. LaRose with a 10 through automatically. On to the Jack. They could make this a 1-goal game. They do. Hilarious. Peter Marsh, 7-6. 7-6. I'm really tempted to make an executive decision here and shuffle this and go for one more sequence. Maybe purely out of curiosity, and then I'll decide. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm going to house rule it. If it's a 1-goal game like this, one more, right? Just one more sequence, like that one more roll thing. One more sequence here. Let me see. Let's see. 8. So Cincinnati 8. Peter Marsh. I mean, they lost this anyway, but the 3, there you go. So I don't think I got a secondary helper, so maybe I should take that 8 of diamonds and give a point to Rich Ledoux. And I will say here that with a pair of 1-goal wins, Cincinnati certainly made it interesting late. As I recall, they did against Quebec as well when they played them earlier in this thing. But ultimately, it is the Edmonton Oilers here. They are going to be the new YouTube champions. Sorry, I feel like I'm still, even though it's technically Monday afternoon, I feel like I'm still kind of waking up and getting my wits about me after the weekend. A weekend where I was feeling mildly under the weather. Nothing too bad. But anyway, I wanted to, I played 6 games this Friday night and wanted to, I sort of play them in sets of either 4 or 8 at a time. Wanted to finish the final couple, but figured again where the Stingers were the reigning YouTube champion at the time, that I would have them on to play a couple of games against the Oilers. I would also show that, I think in the instructions it still says what you do is you make 2 piles. Of course, you keep the 2 jokers in the deck, and you make a pile of 32 and then a pile of 22. And I showed in the second intermission of, I believe, the first game, it was the way that Brian Martin showed me how he shuffles to get a more randomized deck. And so I've been doing that ever since seeing that, and I think it works here. With the larger deck, with the shootout, the 100 fast action cards, I just still do it where like I kind of Jenga style, but not really. I'm not building a tower, but you take a card from the middle and take a card from the bottom and take a card from the top and a sort of thing. So anyway, all right. Good morning, afternoon to you from the so far out west. They call it the East again. Bye for now.